For the heat transfer activity, there's some things that you really want to focus on, and the first thing is going to be prep. So let's talk about prep first. A couple weeks before you're going to go, ask your students to bring in some 2-liter bottles. You just need enough for them to work in groups of 4. Sometimes people have them say, hey, let's bring in 12. And then your prep work is going to be, you got to cut out the bottom, and then there's a little door here in the front of the file. So that way it can just sit on the table just like that. There are instructions in the teacher book, more specific instructions, but it's quite easy. Just, once again, cut out the bottom, and you're going to cut out a little window there. The next thing you're going to do is you have multimeters. Okay, you want to check your multimeters. Once again, inside the book there are instructions for how to set it up, but you want to make sure that you are looking, and you'll see on this particular one, the red is going to go in the middle slot, and the black is going to go on this far right. You'll take this and you're going to turn it all the way to the bottom where it says Celsius, and it should turn on, and right now it's saying it's about 22 degrees in here. Not all of these are going to be exactly the same, but they should be about 2 to 3 degrees. Where you're going to see this is right here. This is this tiny little end here. This little wire is what's going to take your temperature. It's kind of fun to press it against your skin to see the temperature go up to make sure everything's working. One of the biggest things to remember with these, though, is when they're not in use, make sure your students put it to the off. Otherwise, the batteries will run out. Okay? The third thing you're going to want to prep, you're going to need these little cans. You only need 1 can to prep this, or if you want your students to help you prep, that's totally cool too. And then you're going to need aluminum foil. What you're going to do is you're going to create this shape so that this circle part, or the bulb, is about the same size as the base of the can. Okay? And you're going to want to make this long enough. So when we do this setup, this will make it a lot more sense. Okay? So like I said, you have aluminum foil, so you want to get your aluminum foil, and you're going to make enough of these for each group that you have, so that, once again, the bulb piece is the same size as the silver can. So that's what you're going to want to prep to get ready for this activity. Okay, on the day of the lab, one of the things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get out your hot pot, and you're going to want to get out the thermos. If you unscrew the thermos, you'll notice that there are some pot holders in there. This is really important because we're going to be dealing with hot water. So depending on when you have your classes, you can go ahead and use the hot pot, get the water boiling, put it into the thermos so that way you have hot water throughout the day. Obviously, if you have multiple cores, you're going to have to fill up the thermos again. So that being said, once you have that all set to begin with the lab, what you're going to do is you're going to give the students the multimeters, have them plug it in, or you can have them already plugged in ahead of time. It's totally up to you. Have them turn to the Celsius at the bottom. Okay. And what they're going to do first is they're going to take the air temperature and they're going to write that down in their notebooks. Then they're going to press it up against their skin, and they're going to write that temperature down and talk about what they notice and the observations that are being made there. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to show them a can. You can project it, whatever is easiest for you. Have them draw this can inside of their notebook. I encourage you to sketch one up on the board. And the students are going to pick 5 spots. So as a group, they should pick 5 spots on their can where they would like to test the temperature. Okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to fill these up with hot water, and you're going to distribute them onto the table. Now, this is where you need your hot pots, because this is going to get hot. Let your students know you are only going to touch the can with the end of the multimeter. Okay? They don't move the can. They don't touch. The only thing they touch the can with is this. They don't personally, physically touch this. And yes, it's been done numerous times in tons of classrooms. It's okay, but you know your students best, and you have to do what works best for them. So they're going to pick 5 different spots, and they're going to take the multimeter and they're going to test it, and they're going to record the temperature that comes up. Okay, so now I'm doing the back of the can, just different places. Then they are going to, and like I said, when this isn't in use, have them turn it off. So we're gonna have them turn it off. Now we're gonna have them make predictions to what they think the temperature will be 15 minutes from now in those same 5 places. So in their notebooks, next to their places, put a P, then do the prediction. After 15 minutes, have them turn the multimeter back on, take the temperatures, get that out, and then have a discussion about what is happening, what's going on, what surprised them. One of the biggest things you're going to want to ask your students is once they, talk about their findings, their predictions, what surprised them, all that, is where did the heat go? What do they think happened to the heat? How did it move? And what's great is all of it's right here in your teacher guidebook. So if you're not sure, it's right here. And then in the red, there's also some teacher tips for what they might say, okay? And then ask how that change occurred specifically. Now, the next thing they're going to do is we're going to do a second piece using the hot can. So I'm going to show you the setup for that. Okay, the setup for this next piece is you're going to want either, it's a big circle, could be a big square, little circle, could be a little square too, that's okay. You're going to want the aluminum foil pieces that you made, and you're going to want your plastic can, the plastic bottles, my apologies, and then the metal cans. So you're going to put the big circle down first. Nope, bring that closer to me. There we go. Big circle down first. It's a hot can. Use your hot pad. Do not let the students do this. You're going to move the hot thing. Okay? But first, you got to put the metal, the aluminum foil piece underneath it. Okay? So you have your big circle, you have your aluminum foil piece, now you have your can on top of the aluminum foil piece. Make sure that this aluminum foil edge comes off the big circle. Then you're going to put the little circle on top, and finally you're going to put your 2-liter bottle over top. The aluminum foil piece is not going to go through the door. A lot of kids tend to do that, but one thing you can do is either, like I said, you move the can, the kids can set up the rest of it, but there's a really nice picture in your teacher guide that actually has the instructions and everything that you can set out for the kids. Okay, so this is how you're going to set up the second piece of this. Okay, now that you have your setup for the second piece, have the students, you can print out that copy and give it to them. It's a little bit easier, make little versions of it, or you can have them kind of sketch it. And you're going to want to label A, B, and C. So in your teacher notebook, it tells you where A, B, and C is, but let me just show you on here. So A is going to be the very top of the bottle. B is the aluminum foil out here. And then C is right inside the window. That's why it's important that aluminum foil is separate from there. So once again, A is at the top of the bottle, B is aluminum foil, C is right inside the door. Students can pick a couple other places they want to test what they think and stuff like that, so temperature-wise. So they're going to mark that, then they're going to take their multimeters, they will turn it on, and then they will place the multimeter in A, record the temperature, B, record the temperature, and inside for C, record the temperature. Now, there is a student sheet to talk about how heat moved, right? With all the spots on the can, A, B, and C. So you want your students to fill that out and have a discussion about how they think the heat moved from the hot can to that particular spot, and then what is the scientific term that would go with that. And that's where you start to really bring in those vocabulary words of convection and conduction and radiation. And have that big class discussion about it and have them then label it on their picture specifically to say, like, okay, this is convection, this one is conduction, and this one is the radiation piece. What's nice is in here there are some great explanations as well. You can project this and have them fill it out as well. This is really, really great to have the kids experience that and really discuss their ideas. Before you go into the conduction, convection, radiation, have them just really discuss their ideas of how the heat moved, what that looks like, and bring that out of them. So this is the heat transfer activity.